in this video I'm going to share with you 3 big mistakes I've made already with my tomatoes this year. So mistake number 1 was that I got very over enthusiastic and planted out my tomatoes too early. So this one here is an Amish paste tomato, and this is a replacement because the first one I planted out withered away, partly because we had some really cold weather and it just couldn't manage, and partly because a fool in our house, which was me, put on this old air condition unit to try it out in the conservatory, and I hadn't realised that was blowing cold air all over the tomatoes. So that was a double mistake. But anyway, all's well that ends well, because I kept some spare ones and I think that's going to be okay. Mistake number 2, and this is something I'm really bad at, was labelling my seedlings. I never have enough labels, and so I tend to just label some of them and think, oh, I'll leave those stacked together and then I know which ones are what. And then of course something happens and I end up shifting all my seedlings around, and then we get to the place where we've got to this year, where we can see I thought I was going to be growing 3 Amish paste tomatoes in this greenhouse here, and I'm not quite sure if you can see. There's an Amish paste tomato. There's an Amish paste tomato. They're quite kind of floppy looking. And then here in the middle, what's this? That is a totally different tomato, and that's not on purpose. And then I've got 2 here, and again, I think these are supposed to be the Aurora bush tomatoes. Yeah, I've got 1 label there. And they both look a little bit more like a cordon tomato than I expected. So I'm slightly wondering if these are the Sandpoint Earlies. So anyway, as you can see, completely disorganised when it comes to labelling things up. And it does matter, because the Aurora tomatoes, apparently they grow really crazily and need loads of support. And I've put them here in quite small pots, so I may regret that decision. So label your seedlings, don't do what I do. Mistake number 3 is not keeping a close enough eye on my cordon tomatoes so that I could pinch out the side shoots. So I'll show you what the side shoots should be like when I'm pinching that in a minute, but this one here was absolutely huge and I had to use the secateurs to get it out. And by leaving it so late, I've left that tomato a little bit open to disease, so I'm hoping it'll kind of scab over. So let's have a look, see if we can find one that's more at the size it should be for pinching out. So here's a little side shoot coming. This is probably the smallest I would see them anyway, but there's a tiny little shoot coming out between the main branch here and this main side shoot. We've got this little shoot, and you'd be really surprised how quickly they become really big shoots, and they undermine the growth of the plant and means you get less tomatoes, understand. So we want to pinch those out straight away, so I'll just literally get hold of it and pull it off, just a tiny little thing, and that's it. That's how it should work. So keep a closer eye on your tomatoes than I do, and again, hopefully we'll get away with it, but if we don't, it's entirely my fault. So there's 3 mistakes that I've made already this year. Hopefully you won't make the same ones, and hopefully I won't next year, although I might.